Hello everyone, so let's go to the North Gauteng High Court and not Mr. Shololo telling Colonel Steyn in his face that he's a cook or one of the cooks. And I'm like, yes, Mr. Shololo, that is exactly what we were waiting for. For somebody to tell him straight that he's a fabricator of this particular case. And they pin a murder on people that did not commit the murder. And of course, Steyn, he was trying to be as calm can be because he was prepared for Mshololo. But the undertones of rudeness, like downright rude, it was so glaring and so obvious and loud. And I kept thinking to myself, come on, Judge Ratha, your witness is hostile towards the advocate. But instead, he was giggling. I was like, especially towards the end, he giggled. And I'm like, but this is not right. This cannot happen. But anyways, we already know what Ratha's problem is when it comes to the defense, as well how he defends the witnesses as well. It was quite interesting if you were listening very, very closely when Ratha was asking questions like so-called for my understanding, for clarity, or for what. The questions that we were asking Steyn about if, number one, how long he's been in the police force, and two, if he has testified in court before on how many cases, and he says over 2,000 cases, as well as if he taken an oath on his job and he doesn't understand what an oath is, and he's like, yeah, definitely all of that, including courts. I was like, I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that Pinky's evidence, it is discredited, and the only evidence that is credible before him is that of Steyn, because of the number of years as a detective or a colonel he's been, and also testifying over 2,000 cases in court, from regional to high court and everywhere else. It was quite interesting to hear that, because I was like, this is manipulation. This is to tell also the defense that your exercise was frivolous. I believe Steyn. I don't believe Pinky. Because also when you were listening to the cross-examination between Advocate Mshololo and Colonel Steyn was going around in circles. Now let's talk about this WhatsApp call, BB. I had a BlackBerry before. In fact, two BlackBerries, 2009 to 2011, 2001, 2011 to about 2015 or something like that. I'm telling you, BBM. You see now my laugh, this whole thing is making me laugh, and now it's disturbing my chain of thought. WhatsApp and BBM are two different things. He is sticking on the fact that they both use internet. Whether you're using BBM or you're using WhatsApp, they all use internet. And then Advocate Mshololo is telling him, but wait, WhatsApp calls only came on, in 2015. He disputes that. He says, no, he doesn't agree. I'm like, let's get an expert indeed. But now, of course, he's been stood down, obviously. I don't think he's coming back, even if Shololo does bring an expert to kind of like educate the court about WhatsApp and WhatsApp call. When WhatsApp call came through to South Africa, was it in 2014 or was it in 2015? But Ratha decided to take Steyn's explanation because it uses the internet. Both use internet. So it doesn't matter. They interchange with each other. Whether you say BBM network or you say BlackBerry network or you say WhatsApp, it doesn't make any difference according to Steyn. Which guy is a blatant lie. I was so confused. But at the same time, like, no. WhatsApp, even now, the app is written WhatsApp. It's green with an A, and then BBM had BBM. It was just a mess, that one. And you could tell that Steyn, he was told, man, circulate. Be like a falconer and circulate. And do not give the answer that you are going to be caught on. Because once you cannot answer that question, you are going to get arrested. But anyways, when you look at this matter, it is already a crime scene on its own. It's fabricated. The 5 men that stand accused of killing Sensomir are not the right people. The whole thing that is happening is a fabrication. Whether they like it or not, it was very interesting as well to hear Steyn say that when he was doing the what do you call this, the downloads, he was with Advocate Baloy. And this is exactly what Miss Shololo was saying, that you were part of the cooking. You were part of the fabrication of this case. That is why there's an extra number that does not exist in the Vodacom PDF. He's like, no, it's there. And I'm thinking, how can you be so adamant? The best part for me, which makes sense why he kept saying, I disagree with that. He says that Vodacom is not the custodian of Vodacom phone calls and numbers. I don't know if he was being playful or downright. I don't know what was going on with Steyn. Vodacom is the custodian of Vodacom numbers, as well as the data of people who have a Vodacom, what do you call this, network, and communicating with each other. But he says, no, it's not. Because information comes in different way. And I'm like, yes, under a device with the Vodacom SIM card. That is what Mr. Mshololo is trying to tell you. But he says, no, he disagrees. I was like, hey, but it's clear. It's very, very clear that Judge Ratha also misled the nation by saying that if Steyn lies, he will charge him with perjury himself. And yet, what's his name? Steyn has been purging himself throughout this so-called clarification. And now, towards the end, what does he do? He now asks him questions to kind of like soothe him and say, you are safe, nothing's going to happen to you. I believe everything you say. There is no way that a whole colonel will, of so many, 31 years, and then on top of that, with 2,000 cases that you have testified on and successfully got prosecuted and got convictions, and then now today, you decide to just ruin your career. That's exactly what I was hearing from Ratha towards the end. Now, the also part that I could not understand was this ABM machine. ABM machine just does its own things. It does its own things because Steyn defended himself against it, and he also defended it. And I was like, now, Steyn, I would like to know if we had to review some cases that got successful convictions out of this AMB machine or program. How many of those people are actually innocent? Because that's what it sounded like to me. It commands you. You command it. It changes numbers. It changes information. And then you take that information, you bring it to court as the truth. That cannot be. That cannot be right. Because only a human being can command a machine or a program. And only a human being can also, when they see that the machine has made a mistake, make corrections. Why do we make corrections? Because you will have a PDF from Vodacom, and then when you put these two together, you say, okay, yeah, the machine made a mistake here. It added 2 hours. The one that I can't explain what on earth that means. And then I will also, oh yeah, this number was never there. And then he says, no, but the number was downloaded in the cell phone of Kelly Kumalo. It was not in the PDF from Vodacom. Yeah, man. Hey, people, what is going on in South Africa? Somebody please tell me. Because if our close courts, this is what's going on, that means there are a lot of innocent people that are serving sentences of crimes they did not commit. A lot of people. Now this judge is brazen. He doesn't care actually. At this point, he's like, say whatever you want to say. My judgment stays, because we do suspect that the judgment is already prepared. I mean, he has accustomed us, by the way, Judge Ratha, that he always prepares his judgment ahead of time, because he already knows what the defense is going to say. How? So it was also quite interesting when Advocate Mshololo did challenge him that he is fabricating this entire case, and he's like, I'm under oath, I will not lie under oath, and all of that stuff. You could actually hear or feel Ratha twitching a little bit because he wanted to get into the arena. He has been very quiet. I think he spoke twice during Advocate Mshololo's cross-examination, because you know how he is with Mr. Mshololo. You know how he is. Probably was told that, listen, say nothing. Even if you want to say something, say nothing, because clearly whenever Mshololo is on the floor, there's always an altercation between the two of you, where people at the end of the day feel like you are disrespecting her because she's a woman in law, or she's just a woman generally. And which I still believe that Mr. Ratha Mokgoatleng does not appreciate female lawyers at all because of the way he treats them and the way he talks to them. Even the lady in court, I think she's a court marshal herself, she gets called not by her name, like this, hey, whatever her name is. And I'm like, doesn't she have a name? Shouldn't you know her name? Should you also treat her with respect? She's educated just like you, and she's doing a job, and she deserves respect. And she needs to also work in a conducive environment where she is respected. But no, what is all of that? I mean, in the black culture, we know that you don't call a person like this, and you also don't call a person like that, and you also don't say or exe. We all know that those are disrespectful gestures that you can do to another human being. But in Ratha's courtroom, everything goes. Sorry, everything goes. And when Mr. Shalolo asked Colonel Steyn, why did you pick and choose what you needed to bring in court instead of printing the entire disc? And he was like, no, that's because it's a fabrication. You want to set a certain narrative in this court that accused number 5 and Kelly Khumalo communicated when this call never happened. And I also agree that if you do not have a BlackBerry, there is no way you can send a BBM or make a BBM call to a phone that is not a BlackBerry. But Steyn disagreed with that. I know some people say, but there were apps that you could download that could receive BBM. But when were those downloads invented? Wasn't it like almost when the BlackBerry was dying? But anyways, Steyn disputed that. He said there's no way. And on top of that, how would Mshololo know that accused number 5 did not have a BlackBerry? BlackBerries were expensive. I remember when I had a BlackBerry, when I whipped my BlackBerry out, people used to go, wow, you rich. And I was like, no. That's how people who did not have BlackBerries thought that it was an expensive cell phone, it was a unique cell phone, and things like that. And it was also quite interesting when Advocate Mshololo asked Colonel Steyn about confirming that indeed there was a call between Kelly Khumalo and what's his name, and accused number 5, and that these documents that he brought in court cannot be confirmed that indeed they came from Kelly Khumalo's cell phone if we don't have Kelly Khumalo's cell phone in court for us to check for ourselves. He said no comment. He even further went to say that it was a wrong handset. I don't know whose handset that was wrong, that could not verify any of this information that he has told the court. And then my question is now, Ratha, hello, this is the point where you stop and say, call one of the police officers in court, take this man in, he is lying and misleading the court. But instead, Steyn was the one that was telling a whole advocate that he's misleading him and also misleading the court. The part that also made me laugh was when he asked Advocate Mshololo not to use the word fabrication. And if I was Mshololo, I was going to say, no, it's fabrication. This entire case is fabricated and you are part of the fabrication. Then, of course, I did not bother myself once Advocate Mshololo sat down. I couldn't care less about the cross-examination because it was going to be further lies. It was also interesting to see Mr. Mngomezulu standing up after Ratha did that whole stunt with Colonel Steyn and basically asking him if he understood what an oath was. Of course, Colonel Steyn felt offended and he thought, you know what, this is a game and he's not going to answer this question. But I saw what Mr. Mngomezulu was going with this one because he wants to catch him once if the court comes to a different conclusion to the one that we are thinking, that Colonel Steyn, because he said he knows he's under oath, that he gets arrested for fabricating this case. So towards the end of the day, then it came to light that the next person that is supposed to come and testify is supposed to be the ballistic expert Mangena together with the defense ballistic expert. But the ballistic expert says he wants more time to work to re-examine the evidence, and also they don't know when he's going to conclude his final report. And I was like, yeah, cool. I mean, there's no problem. I mean, he can do that because there's still enough time. Remember what Judge Ratha ruled regarding when they're going to come back and then begin the cross-examination of Mangena as well as the defense ballistic expert, the 2nd of September. Jiggy now, no. Because what's his name, Gininda is not available next week, which I think is not true. They just want to do a little bit more of rehearsals before he comes on the stand. But okay, he's not available next week. And then the judge said, no, 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 no. We already had Mangena stood down for over a year, and this is not right. And what have you not? As well as the JP is not happy and asking him why does he care about the defense and its situation. And he's like, no, you want to give people some fairness. Fairness. This whole entire trial is unfair. Why would you be fair on a tiny little thing regarding this entire huge case? I was like, I felt a little bit patronized by that myself. Obviously, it was directed to the defense that the JP doesn't like y'all. I like y'all, but the JP doesn't. That's how it sounded like to me. And then on top of that, then Ratha made a ruling that Mangena must come tomorrow and begins his cross-examination with the defense, or the state lead the evidence with him, and then cross-examination by the defense. And I'm asking myself, how fair is this? Because how long do we know it's going to take Van der Melver? I think it's my Van der Melver, who is the ballistic expert for the defense. But anyways, I think they were able to also go to him, maybe they did today, and said, listen, dude, can you fasten the process because Mangena is coming and it's going to take probably a week to have him understand, I don't know. Or maybe it could take less than a day as well to cross-examine him. Immediately when he stood down, we need to have the defense. But then again, he still has the 2nd of September to come and testify in court. I don't know how that is going to be done, but I felt like Judge Ratha was being a little bit unfair, but at the same time, I get it because we can't postpone this matter for a whole week waiting for Ginida to come to the stand whenever he's going to come to the stand. And again, I do not believe that he's unavailable. I just think that they just want to do some touch-ups and also polish whatever he's going to come and talk about in on the stand. And one of those, of course, we know he's going to take us through a lengthy LLB 101 lessons in criminal law, or one thing or the other, without answering the question whether yes or no. It's going to be a headache, people. And then I'm going to have to prepare myself also emotionally, spiritually, and everything that I've got, because the last time when this man took the stand, my shoulders became heavy. Something is up with that guy. Something spiritually is up with that guy. So, hey, hey, I am telling you, can somebody's spirit and energy protrude through a television screen? That was the first time for me. That was the first time for me. Probably that's why he is. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying he is there or he believes in going there. I don't know, but you know, it's quite interesting what has transpired in this so-called clarification by calling Colonel Steyn back on the stand. It did not help. I don't know how it helped you, how you got to understand everything that transpired, the lies that have been spoken, the forgetfulness, adding of a number added in the cell phone instead of the PDF or Vodacom. And of course, we can tell that Pinky's testimony was being watered down, and the only one that that has more weight is that of Steyn, because he's been doing this since 1999. And he's also lectured some police officers who also testified in court about cell phone data and downloads and all of that stuff, and this AMB machine or program that does its own thing. That's what I heard. That's the clarity I think I heard at the end of the day. And of course, Mr. Mshololo was not happy with Mr. Steyn's answers and said, yeah, it shows why you are a colonel of so many years. And he was like, yeah, it shows why you're also an advocate. I was like, woo. But bam, hostile witness. And Ratha was okay with that. But anyways, guys, that is what my thoughts were regarding today's proceedings. Now, I'm just hoping, because right now it is 4:45, and I don't know if my Wi-Fi is going to allow this video to be posted at least by 5:30. So you guys get it by 5:45 or something. I don't know. My Wi-Fi is terrible, guys. That is why you are getting videos very late, sometimes the following morning, like wee hours of the morning. because of the Wi-Fi. Other than that, guys, if you leave this video, please make sure to like, because guys already know about the like button. And also do not, okay, and also leave me a comment down below. Let me know what were your thoughts about the proceedings of Steyn being on the stand for how many weeks now. And then also, guys, do share this video far and wide, and I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.